Ambassador Daquan stood before the largest audience in galactic history. Every species with communication technology was watching. 200 billion beings across 10,000 worlds waited to hear what he would say. He stood on Earth, in the gardens of the old United Nations building. Behind him, the relocated planet spun peacefully in its new home. Above, human warships flew in formation, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. They were not hiding anymore. There was no need. 300 years ago, Daquan began, a ship appeared in Earth's orbit. It was damaged, dying. Inside were the last survivors of a species called the Forerunners. They had been fleeing for decades. They were being hunted. They knew they would not survive much longer. He paused, letting the weight of those words settle. We were a young species then. We had just begun to explore our own solar system. We had no faster-than-light travel. We had no knowledge of the galaxy beyond our star. When the Forerunner ship appeared, we thought we were being invaded. We prepared for war. Dr. Jinte appeared on screens beside Daquan. He held up a small device, ancient and worn. But the Forerunners did not come to conquer. They came to warn. They came to give us a gift. And they came to ask for forgiveness. The scene changed. Holographic images appeared showing the Forerunners. They looked almost human, but taller, with skin that shimmered with soft light, beautiful and sad. 10,000 years ago, Jinte explained, the Forerunners were part of the Council's predecessor empire. They were scientists, philosophers, and teachers. They believed in progress. They believed in freedom. They believed that every species should be allowed to grow and develop without restriction. The images shifted, showing beautiful cities and peaceful worlds. But the empire did not believe in freedom. They believed in control. They believed in maintaining power by keeping other species weak and dependent. When the Forerunners tried to change the system from within, they were declared traitors. New images appeared. These were not peaceful. They showed war. They showed cities burning. They showed ships being destroyed. The Empire hunted them for 1,000 years. They killed every Forerunner they could find. They destroyed their worlds. They erased their history. And when they were done, they told the galaxy that the Forerunners had simply died out from disease. A tragic loss, they said. A species that burned too bright and faded away. Daquan's voice grew harder. It was a lie. The Forerunners were murdered systematically, completely. Their only crime was wanting freedom. Their only mistake was believing they could change an empire built on oppression. The hologram showed a dying Forerunner, speaking to human scientists 300 years ago. Before they died, the last Forerunners seeded the galaxy with hidden caches of technology and knowledge. They hid them on young worlds. Worlds with species that had not yet developed space travel, species the Empire would not notice for centuries or millennia. They hoped that one day one of these young species would find the caches and use them to break the cycle. Jinte gestured to Earth. Earth was one of those worlds. The Forerunners came here, gave us everything they had left, and asked us to forgive them. They said they were sorry for burdening us with this responsibility. They said they hoped we would do better than they did. Then they died. The last of their species passed away in our care. We buried them with honors and swore we would not let them down. The galaxy watched in silence. Some species were crying. Others were angry. All of them were learning the truth for the first time. We spent 300 years studying what they gave us, Daquan said. We built ships. We developed weapons. We prepared. But most importantly, we searched. We looked for other Forerunner caches across the galaxy. We found 87 of them. A map appeared showing the galaxy with bright points of light scattered across it. The Council found 43 of these caches before we did. In every single case, they destroyed them. They buried the evidence. They made sure the species living on those worlds would never know what had been left for them. They continued the same policy of oppression that killed the Forerunners 10,000 years ago. Vextar appeared on a different screen. The former High Chancellor was in chains. He looked old and beaten. Is this true? Someone asked him. Did the Council know about the Forerunners? Did you destroy their caches? Vextar said nothing for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. Yes, we knew. The Forerunners were dangerous. Their ideas were dangerous. If species had access to their technology, they would not need the Council. They would not follow our guidance. There would be chaos. You mean there would be freedom? Daquan said quietly. You mean they would be able to govern themselves? You mean you would lose power? Vextar glared at him. Without the Council, the galaxy would destroy itself. Species need guidance. They need control. They need us. No, Counselor Ixara said, stepping forward. They do not. We have been living a lie for thousands of years. A lie that the Council was necessary. A lie that we were protecting the galaxy. But we were only protecting our power. She turned to face the cameras. I am Counselor Ixara of the Aquilon species. I have served the Council for 3 centuries. I believed in it. I thought we were doing good. But the humans have shown me the truth. We were not protectors. We were oppressors. And I am ashamed. Other council members began to speak. Some defended their actions. Most could not. The evidence was overwhelming. The records were clear. For 10,000 years, the Council had maintained control by keeping species weak and dependent. Daquan raised his hand for silence. We are not here to seek revenge. We are not here to punish you. The Forerunners did not give us their legacy so we could become another empire. They gave it to us so we could break the cycle, so we could create something better. He looked out at the galaxy, watching him. We are offering you the locations of all 44 remaining Forerunner caches. We are offering to help you recover them. We are offering to share every piece of technology we have developed. We will teach you how to build ships like ours. We will show you how to defend yourselves. We will give you everything the Council tried to keep from you. Jin-Tae nodded. We only ask 3 things in return. First, that you use this technology to help all species, not just your own. Second, that you never use it to oppress others the way you were oppressed. Third, that you help us build a new government, one based on freedom and equality, one that would make the Forerunners proud. Across the galaxy, species began to respond. The Aquilons agreed immediately. The Lithic Collective joined them. The Singing Clouds pledged their support. Within hours, 63 species had accepted Earth's offer. The Council was dissolving. Not through military force, not through conquest, but through the simple power of truth and freedom. Species that had been controlled for millennia were learning they could choose their own path, and they were choosing to walk away. Daquan smiled. It was a genuine smile this time, not the smirk from the Council chamber. That smirk had been for war. This smile was for peace. The Forerunners died believing they had failed. They thought the cycle of oppression would continue forever. But they were wrong. They did not fail. They planted seeds across the galaxy, and now 300 years later, those seeds are finally bearing fruit. The galaxy is free, not because we conquered it, but because we showed you the truth. And the truth, as they say, will set you free. He looked up at the sky at the stars shining in their new patterns. Thank you, Forerunners. We did not let you down. 3 months later, the Council's combined fleet arrived at Sol. 50,000 warships representing 200 species. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Admiral Rixton had been given command despite his failure at Kepler 442. There was no one else with enough experience. He stood on the bridge of his flagship and stared at the tactical display. Sol was right there. Earth's sun glowed on the sensors. All the planets were in their proper positions. But something felt wrong. Scan for human ships, he ordered. His sensor officer worked for several minutes, then several more. Finally, she looked up with confusion on her face. Admiral, I am detecting no ships, no stations, no satellites, no energy signatures at all. They are hiding again. Use the deep scanners. I am using the deep scanners, Admiral. There's nothing there. Rixton felt ice form in his stomach. Send a scout ship. Get close. Report what they find. The scout ship jumped into the inner system. It flew past where Jupiter should be, past Mars, past Earth's moon. Its sensors showed planets. They showed the sun. But they showed no life, no cities, no orbital stations, nothing. The scout captain's voice shook as he reported back. Admiral, the Sol system is empty. The planets are here, but there is no one living on them. It is like everyone just vanished. Rixton grabbed the nearest console to keep from falling. Check the stellar position. Confirm we are at the correct coordinates. They checked. They triple-checked. The coordinates were correct. They were exactly where Sol should be. Then the message came through. Every screen and every ship displayed the same thing. Dr. Jin-Tae appeared, standing in his laboratory again. But this time, through the windows behind him, the stars were different. Greetings, Council Fleet. Welcome to Sol. Or rather, welcome to where Sol used to be. You are looking for Earth. You will not find it here. We moved. He let those words hang in the air. 3 light years. We shifted our entire solar system 3 light years from its original position. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid. We did it in 2 weeks. You spent 3 months gathering your fleet and traveling here. We spent that time moving our home. The implications hit the Council fleet like a physical blow. If humans could move an entire solar system, what else could they do? How did you fight an enemy who could simply relocate their entire civilization? You cannot find us, Jin-Tae continued. Your sensors cannot detect us when we hide. Your fleets cannot reach us when we move. You cannot win this war with military force. So perhaps it is time to ask yourself why you are really fighting. The screen changed. It showed documents. Old documents. Council records dating back thousands of years. We have spent the last 3 months doing more than moving our home. We have been sharing information. Information the Council has kept hidden from you. On the Council station, Vexitar watched in growing horror as Jin-Tae revealed secret after secret. Trade agreements that exploited smaller species. Technologies that had been suppressed to keep certain races dependent. Military operations disguised as peacekeeping missions. Ambassador Suhan appeared on another channel. He was standing in front of representatives from 15 different species. Species that looked angry. The Council has been lying to you, Suhan said simply. For thousands of years, they have controlled what technology you could access. They have limited your growth. They have kept you dependent on them. Next to him, Councillor Ixara stepped forward. The Aquilon representative had been part of the Council for 3 centuries. She looked tired and sad. Everything he says is true. I have seen the records the humans provided. The Council has been preventing my people from developing quantum computers for 200 years. They said we were not ready. They said it was for our protection. They lied. They did not want us to become strong enough to challenge them. Other species began to speak. The Lithic Collective had been blocked from advanced manufacturing. The Singing Clouds had been denied access to dimensional travel. The Crystalline Union had been prevented from developing better weapons. Every time the Council had claimed it was for their own good. Every time it was about control. Colonel Ayan and her special forces had spent 3 months raiding Council archives. They did not attack military bases. They did not kill soldiers. They stole data, thousands of years of data, and they shared it with everyone. Now that data was spreading across the galaxy like wildfire, species that had trusted the Council for millennia were reading the truth. They were seeing how they had been manipulated. They were understanding how they had been held back. The Council fleet began to fracture. 37 species immediately withdrew their ships. They sent messages to their homeworlds, saying they would not fight for the Council anymore. 52 more species demanded answers from the Council leadership. Rixton watched his fleet fall apart around him. Ships were leaving. Some were even pointing their weapons at each other as old grudges surfaced. Admiral, his communications officer said quietly, "We are receiving a message from Earth. For you personally." Rixton almost did not want to hear it. But he was still a military officer. He accepted the call. Ambassador Daquan appeared on his screen. The human looked tired but not unkind. "Admiral Rixton, I am told you are a good soldier. You follow orders. You do your duty. I respect that. But I want you to understand something. You cannot win this war, not because you are bad at your job, but because the war itself is based on a lie." Daquan gestured behind him. Through the windows of his ship, stars glittered in unfamiliar patterns. The Council told you that you were fighting primitive humans. They told you this would be easy. They told you that you were protecting the galaxy. All lies. You are fighting to preserve a system that has oppressed your people for thousands of years. You are fighting to maintain a government that fears change. You are fighting for nothing. The Admiral said nothing. What could he say? "We know about the Forerunner caches in your home system," Daquan continued. "The Council found them 50 years ago. They destroyed them so your people would never know. We have the records. We can help you find what remains." Rixton felt something crack inside his chest. His people. His species. They had been denied their heritage. The Council had robbed them of advancement that was rightfully theirs. "Go home, Admiral," Daquan said gently. "Take your ships and go home. We are not your enemy. We never were. The Council is your enemy. They have been since the beginning. We are offering you freedom. All of you. Every species that wants to break free from the Council's control. We will help you. We will share our technology. We will share what the Forerunners left behind. All we ask is that you stop fighting a war that benefits no one but the Council leadership." The transmission ended. Rixton sat in his command chair and looked at what remained of his fleet. Half of it was gone. The other half looked ready to mutiny. He thought about his orders. He thought about his duty. Then he thought about what Day Quan had said. He made his choice. "All ships, this is Admiral Rixton. We are withdrawing. Set course for home. Anyone who wants to stay and fight for the Council can do so. I will not stop you. But I will not die for a government that has been lying to us for millennia." One by one, ships turned away from Seoul. They jumped to FTL and disappeared. Within hours, the greatest fleet ever assembled was gone. The Council had mobilized everything they had. The humans had defeated them without firing a single shot. Back on Earth, in its new location 3 light-years from where it had been, Dr. Jin Tae watched the reports coming in. He smiled sadly. "Phase 3 complete. The Council's military is broken. Now we move to Phase 4, which is," his assistant asked, "we help them build something better." Fleet Admiral Rixton made his decision in 3 seconds. He had not lived through 1,000 battles by being slow. The humans wanted to intimidate them. They wanted the Council to surrender without a fight. He would show them why the Council ruled the galaxy. All ships open fire. Target the closest human vessels. Show these primitives what real military power looks like. 4,000 Council warships unleashed their weapons at once. Energy beams, missiles, kinetic rounds, and weapons that bent space itself all flew toward the human fleet. It was enough firepower to destroy a planet. It was beautiful and terrible. The weapons hit the human ships and simply stopped. They did not bounce off. They did not explode. They just stopped, as if they had hit an invisible wall and decided to stay there. The energy beams faded into nothing. The missiles hung frozen in space. The kinetic rounds lost all their speed and drifted away slowly. Rixton stared at his displays. What just happened? His weapons officer was checking and rechecking the readings. "Admiral, our weapons are hitting their shields. But the shields are not acting like any shields we have ever seen. They are not absorbing the energy or deflecting it. They are making it cease to exist. That is impossible." "Yes, Admiral, it should be impossible, but that is what is happening." On the human carrier Indomitable, Captain Na-Ri watched the Council's attack with calm interest. She had expected this. The Council always attacked first. They always assumed their numbers would win. "They never learned. Status of our shields?" she asked. Her tactical officer did not even look worried. "At 0.03%, Captain. The Council would need to fire continuously for 6 months to bring them down." Nari nodded. "Very well. Let us show them what we can do. All ships, you may return fire. Weapons free. But remember, we are here to demonstrate, not to slaughter. Target their engines and weapons systems only." "No kill shots," the human fleet responded. Their weapons were nothing like the Council's. They fired solid rounds that accelerated to 90% of light speed in seconds. Energy weapons that somehow passed through normal shields as if they were not there. Missiles that teleported the last 100 meters to their targets. Council ships started dying. Their shields, designed to stop the best weapons in the galaxy, might as well have been made of paper. Human rounds punched through them and tore apart engines. Energy beams sliced through hulls and disabled weapon systems. In the first 30 seconds, 200 Council ships went dark. Rixton watched in horror as his fleet fell apart. How are they doing this? Lieutenant Yunmi flew her fighter through the chaos. Her ship was small, barely 20 meters long. But it moved like nothing the Council had ever seen. It could turn on a coin. It could accelerate instantly. It could stop just as fast. The G-forces should have killed her. They should have turned her into liquid. They did not, because Yunmi was not just a pilot. She was connected to her ship. Neural implants linked her brain directly to the fighter's quantum computer. She thought about moving, and the ship moved. She thought about dodging, and the ship dodged. She thought about firing, and her weapons spoke. A Council interceptor tried to get a lock on her. It was fast. The pilot was skilled, but compared to Yunmi, they might as well have been standing still. She flipped her fighter around without slowing down, fired 3 times and destroyed the interceptor's engines. The Council pilot survived. That was the point. Human fighter craft. Her squadron leader's voice came through her implants. "You are showing off again," Yunmi grinned. "Just following orders, sir." "Making an impression." "Well, you are certainly doing that. 3 Council heavy cruisers just retreated because they were afraid of you. The battle lasted 6 hours. It should have lasted days. It should have been close. It was not. The Council threw everything they had at the human fleet. They tried every tactic they knew. They combined forces, split up, tried ambushes, tried frontal assaults. Nothing worked. When it was over, 4,000 Council ships were disabled or destroyed. 40,000 crew members were dead. Hundreds of thousands more were injured. The humans had lost 17 ships, and those only because their captains stayed too long to rescue Council survivors. Every human crew member had been evacuated before their ships were destroyed. Captain Nari stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and opened a channel to the entire sector. Her face appeared on every screen, human and alien alike. This is Captain Nari of the Earth Defense Fleet. I am transmitting this message to all Council forces and all Council worlds. What you just witnessed was not a war. It was a demonstration. You attacked us and we defended ourselves. We could have destroyed every ship in this system. We did not. We could have killed every crew member. We did not. We disabled your vessels and rescued your people because we are not here to commit genocide. She paused, letting her words sink in. The Galactic Council declared war on humanity. You thought we were weak. You thought we would be easy to conquer. You were wrong. We have spent 300 years preparing for this day. We have technology you cannot match. We have weapons you cannot stop. We have patience you cannot imagine. Behind her, through the ship's windows, damaged Council vessels drifted in space. Human rescue ships were already moving among them, pulling out survivors. But we are not monsters. We did not want this war. We tried to live peacefully. We traded with you. We sent diplomats. We hoped that somehow you would be different from what the Forerunners warned us about. We hoped you would let us be free. Nari's voice grew harder. You did not. So now we are giving you a choice. The Council can end this war right now. Withdraw your fleets. Cancel your demands. Leave humanity alone. Do this and we will forget this ever happened. We will go back to our corner of space. We will not seek revenge. We will not pursue you. We will simply let you go. She leaned forward, staring directly into the camera. Or you can continue this war. You can throw your 50,000 ships at us. You can call up every species in the Council. You can try to crush us with numbers. If you do, you will lose. Not eventually. Not after a long struggle. You will lose quickly and completely. We will not enjoy it. We will not celebrate it. But we will do what we must to protect our freedom. In the Council chamber, the aliens watched in silence. Vextar's face was twisted with rage. But several other species looked uncertain. They had just watched their best fleet get crushed in 6 hours. They had seen humans rescue their enemies even while fighting them. Daquan stood quietly in the center of the chamber. He had not moved during the entire battle. Now he spoke, his voice carrying to every corner of the massive space. The choice is yours, Council. Peace or war, freedom or destruction. We will accept either, but understand this. If you choose war, you will not be fighting a primitive species. You will be fighting a civilization that has been preparing for this moment for 3 centuries. You will be fighting humans, he looked directly at Vextar. And humans are very, very good at war. Vextar's roar shook the chamber. We will never surrender to primitives. Mobilize everything! Every ship. Every soldier. We will drown them in our numbers. Daquan sighed. He had hoped they would choose peace. He had really hoped, but humans were also very good at preparing for the worst. And the worst was exactly what the Council had just chosen. The Council's sensors had been the best in the galaxy for 10,000 years. They could detect a single ship from 3 star systems away. They could track missiles moving faster than light. They had never failed before, until now. Fleet Admiral Rixton watched his displays with all 6 of his compound eyes. The insectoid commander had led 1,000 battles. He had conquered 40 systems. He had never been afraid. But as he stared at the readings from 17 different star systems, his body began to shake. The space around the Council station rippled. It looked like someone had thrown a stone into a pond, except the pond was reality itself. Then the ships appeared. They were massive. Each human vessel dwarfed the Council's largest dreadnoughts. Their hulls were black, but not the black of paint or metal. It was the black of something that ate light and refused to give it back. The ships had smooth curves and sharp edges that seemed to hurt the eyes when you looked at them too long. How many? Rixton demanded. His sensor officer's voice cracked. Here, 200, Admiral. But the reports from other systems, 3,000 total, all of them appeared at the same time. Impossible. Our scouts reported only 200 human ships total. Old ones. Slow ones. Those ships are still there, Admiral. These are different. These are... I do not know what these are. Inside the council chamber, chaos had replaced the earlier confidence. Aliens were shouting at each other. Some were trying to leave. Others were calling for immediate attack. Fextar stood frozen, staring at Daquan. The human touched his earpiece again. His eyes never left the Chancellor's face. Dr. Jinte, you may proceed with the announcement. Every screen in the chamber suddenly changed. They all showed the same image. A human man in a white coat stood in what looked like a laboratory. Behind him, through large windows, the Earth's moon was visible, except something was wrong with the image. The moon looked hollow, like someone had scooped out the inside and left only a shell. Dr. Jinte smiled at the camera. He looked friendly, like a teacher about to explain something simple to children. Greetings, Galactic Council. My name is Dr. Jinte. I am the Chief of Earth's Defense Science Division. For 50 years you have wondered why humanity remained so quiet, why we built so few ships, why we seemed content to stay in our corner of space. He gestured to the hollow moon behind him. You assumed we were primitive, slow, stupid. You were wrong. We were preparing. The image changed. It showed human workers inside the moon, building massive ships in enormous caverns. Thousands of workers, hundreds of ships at different stages of construction. 300 years ago, we were visited by a species called the Forerunners. They were running from something. They were dying. They left us a gift. Knowledge, technology, and a warning. Jinte's smile faded. They warned us about you, about the Council, about how you find young species and crush them, about how you have been doing this for 10,000 years. They told us that one day you would come for us, so we prepared. In the council chamber, Vextar found his voice. Lies, the Forerunners are extinct. They died out millennia ago. Jinte heard him somehow. His image turned to look directly at the Chancellor. Yes, they are extinct, because you killed them. Every last one. We found the records. We found the proof. The Forerunners tried to reform your empire from within. They wanted freedom for all species. So you destroyed them and told everyone they simply died out. The image changed again. Ancient records appeared on screen. Battle reports. Execution orders, all bearing the Council's official seals. We spent 300 years studying the technology they left behind. We built ships in secret. We created weapons you have never seen. We trained soldiers for a war we hoped would never come. But we knew it would. We knew that eventually you would notice us. You would make your demands, and you would give us no choice. Across the galaxy, the Council's fleets were reporting the same thing. Human ships appearing from nowhere, sensors that had detected nothing suddenly screaming warnings. The stealth technology was perfect. Better than perfect. It was like the human ships did not exist until they wanted to be seen. Commander Wu. Seok sat in the captain's chair of the Silent Arrow. His ship had been hiding 3 meters away from a Council dreadnought for 6 hours. The Council ship had no idea they were there. Now as Protocol Apex activated, his ship's stealth field dropped. The Council dreadnought's alarms went crazy. Wusuk watched them panic on his displays. He opened a channel to them. Council vessel, this is the Earthship Silent Arrow. I have been parked next to you for 6 hours. My weapons have been locked on your reactor the entire time. I suggest you power down and prepare to be boarded. Resist, and you will not live long enough to regret it. Similar messages were being sent across 17 systems. 3,000 human warships appeared simultaneously. Every single one had been hiding in plain sight. Some had been following Council fleets for weeks. Others had been stationed at key military bases, invisible and patient. Jinte continued his broadcast. Our stealth technology is 500 years ahead of anything you possess. While you were congratulating yourselves on your superiority, we were learning everything about you. Every diplomatic mission we sent was a spy mission. Every trade vessel carried sensors. Every tourist was a trained intelligence officer. He pulled up a datapad and read from it. We know the location of every Council military base. We have detailed scans of every warship design. We have maps of your supply lines. We know which species are happy in the Council and which ones hate you but are too afraid to leave. We know everything. In the chamber, several alien representatives looked sick. Others looked angry. A few looked terrified. They had welcomed humans into their space. They had let human traders into their stations. They had smiled and accepted human diplomats, all while being studied like insects under a microscope. You told Ambassador Daquan that you have 10,000 ships, Jinte said. You told him humanity has only 200. You are correct. We do have 200 old, slow, visible ships. We also have 3,000 new, fast, invisible ones, and those are just the ones we are showing you today. He leaned closer to the camera. Our population is not 12 billion as you believe. It is 16 billion. 4 billion humans live in orbital habitats and colonies you never detected. Your sensors are very good, Chancellor, but our stealth technology is better. Vextar's tail lashed out, smashing a nearby console. This changes nothing. We still outnumber you. We will crush you. Daquan spoke quietly from the center of the chamber. His voice cut through the chaos. You can try, Chancellor, but ask yourself this question. If we can hide 3,000 warships from your sensors, what else might we be hiding? If we can hollow out our moon without you noticing, what else have we built? If we have been preparing for 300 years, how ready do you really think we are? The human ambassador looked around at all the alien faces staring at him. Some with hatred, some with fear, some with doubt. You declared war on us, Council. You gave us no choice but to reveal ourselves. Now you know the truth. Now you understand what you are really facing. The question is, do you still want this war? Silence filled the chamber. Outside, 3,000 human warships waited. Inside, the most powerful government in the galaxy tried to understand how they had been so completely fooled. The answer was simple and terrifying. Humanity had not been sleeping for 50 years. They had been preparing, and now they were ready. Daquan stood alone in the center of the massive chamber. Around him, 200 alien species filled the curved walls that stretched up and down like a giant sphere. Some of the aliens looked like giant insects. Others appeared as floating crystals that changed colors. A few were just clouds of gas held together by force fields. They all had one thing in common. They were staring at him with hatred. The human ambassador adjusted his gray suit and waited. He had been standing here for 2 hours now. 2 hours of listening to demands and threats. 2 hours of insults about his primitive species. He did not move. He did not speak. He just listened with a small smile on his face. High Chancellor Vexitar rose from his throne. The reptilian alien was 3 times the size of a human. His scales were dark red and covered in ceremonial markings. His voice boomed through the chamber without any speaker system. The Council had given him that power centuries ago. Human, you have heard our terms. Earth will surrender 80% of all resources. Your planet will accept our governors to rule over you. You will reduce your population to 2 billion within 10 years. Your military will be disbanded. Your ships will be destroyed. You will become what you were always meant to be. Servants. Vextar moved closer to the center platform where Daquan stood. The human barely reached the alien's chest. The Chancellor smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. We know your history, human. 50 years ago, your species stumbled upon faster than light travel. You are children playing with toys you do not understand. We have ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years. We have crushed species far more advanced than yours. You are nothing. The other aliens made sounds of agreement. Clicks, whistles, and roars filled the chamber. They were enjoying this. Daquan knew they had done this before. Many times, to many species. The Council would find a young civilization, let them grow just enough to be useful, then crush them under impossible demands. We are being generous, Vextar continued. We could simply take everything. We could wipe your species from existence, but we are civilized. We offer you survival. Obedience for life. It is more than your kind deserves, Daquan finally spoke. His voice was quiet but clear. May I ask one question? Vextar laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. The primitive wishes to speak. Very well. Ask your question, human. Then give us your answer. If we refuse your terms, Daquan said calmly, is this a formal declaration of war? The chamber fell silent. Then the aliens began to laugh. The sound was terrible. It echoed off the curved walls and filled the space with mockery. Vextar spread his arms wide. War? You call it war? Human. We have 10,000 warships surrounding your pathetic solar system. Your entire military consists of 200 vessels. Ancient, slow, and weak. You have no allies. No one will come to save you. This is not war. This is pest control. The Chancellor moved even closer. His hot breath washed over Daquan. But yes, human. If it makes you feel better, call it war. The moment you refuse, our ships will turn your world into ash. We will erase every trace of your species. Your children will die. Your history will be forgotten. Your planet will become a mining colony for species that know their place. Daquan nodded slowly. The small smile never left his face. He reached up and touched his right ear. A small device there, barely visible, started to glow blue. "Thank you for the clarification, Chancellor," the human said. "I needed to be absolutely certain before I responded." Vextar's eyes narrowed. Something in the human's tone made him pause. Around the chamber, several military commanders from different species suddenly looked nervous. They were checking their displays, their communication devices. Daquan's smile grew wider. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of someone who had been waiting a very long time for this exact moment. "Then, on behalf of humanity and the United Earth Government, I formally reject your terms. We will not surrender. We will not submit. And we will not be slaves." The chamber erupted in angry shouts. The aliens could not believe what they were hearing. Vextar roared with rage. His tail smashed against the platform, cracking the stone. "You fool, you have just killed your entire species." Daquan touched his earpiece again. When he spoke, his words were not for the Chancellor. They were for someone far away, someone who had been waiting for the signal for 50 years. "It's finally time," the ambassador said quietly. "Execute Protocol Apex." For a moment, nothing happened. The aliens continued to shout. Vextar was calling for his military commanders to begin the attack. Several species were already celebrating what they thought would be an easy victory. Then the alerts began. Every military display in the chamber lit up red. Warning signals screamed. The celebration stopped. The shouting died. Commanders from a dozen species were staring at their screens in horror. "Impossible," whispered the insectoid fleet admiral. His many eyes were fixed on his display. "This cannot be real." Vextar grabbed the nearest commander. "What is happening? Report." The commander, an avian with bright feathers, could barely speak. "Chancellor, our sensors, they are detecting massive gravitational distortions. 17 different systems, including here." "Including Sol? What kind of distortions?" Vextar demanded. The avian looked at Daquan with fear in his eyes. "Ships, Chancellor. Thousands of ships. They are appearing out of nowhere. Our sensors had them marked as empty space 1 second ago. Now they are showing solid contacts. Big contacts. How many?" Vextar's voice was quiet now. "Deadly. 3,000, Chancellor. Each one twice the size of our dreadnoughts." The chamber fell completely silent. All eyes turned to Daquan. The human stood exactly as he had before, calm, smiling, waiting. Vextar moved slowly toward the ambassador. His voice shook with rage and something else. Something he had not felt in centuries, fear. "What have you done?" Daquan looked up at the massive alien. His smile never wavered. "Chancellor, you made a mistake. You assumed we were primitive because we only discovered faster than light travel 50 years ago. You assumed we were weak because we stayed quiet. You assumed we would be easy to control because every other species you crushed was easy to control." The human's voice grew harder, colder. "You forgot to ask why we stayed quiet. You forgot to wonder what we were doing all that time. Most importantly, you forgot that humans are very, very good at one thing." "And what is that?" Vextar growled. Daquan's smile turned into something fierce and proud. "Preparing for war."